going on, guys? Winter Kills here, and we are back with another rendition of the top replays and highlights section of this channel. It's been a while since we did the last one, but it's been a couple weeks, I think. But we've got plenty of replays to go through here, and if I got any amazing Twitch clips from my stream where most of these replays are from, I'll be posting them down in the description below for you guys to check out. So don't forget to check that out after you watch the video. Maybe you want to watch them first. Entirely up to you. If you want to get access to all the stream highlights directly, I would recommend you guys join the Discord or follow me on Twitch to see them happen as they happen. So link to those down in the description below. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started and take a look at our first replay here. It's me versus Larry. Who would have guessed? We got a bit of variety though this time around. This just happens to be the exception. And he's playing a little bit of hero. I dabbled in heroes for a little while, maybe a stream or two, and really didn't like them that much. The deck doesn't seem to do too much going first if you don't up Super Poly or Dark Law. And the cards that he's playing with here aren't even actually TCG legal yet, although they will be at some point. I'm getting started with the Foolish Burial Goods to send Metalfoes Fusion. That actually rips me into the Prepper Rights, and I decided to waste no time, cut straight to the point, and go for the Trish. Little did I know he's got a Super Poly, which luckily for me, I only put one monster on the board, so he wasn't able to suck up anything of mine. But as you can see, I still have plays here afterwards, and he really can't take advantage of his Fusion monster because I've got a Clauseless on board now, and it's really nothing he can do about that. And the simple fact that I have a Clauseless now is going to prove to be a great pain for him to deal with, because he's going to have to go into the extra deck a lot to sort of make any plays happen. Goes into the Wonder Driver and summons the Malicious Fiend. Tries to attack over Colossus. Of course, I'm not going to let that go through. Increase comes out to the Spell and Trap zone. And this is where things get a little spicy. We've turned it up to 11 here. Kaleidoscope sending, of course, Herald for Unicore. He's trying to activate the increase here. I don't really care too much using the Chalice Slime to get Talismandra. I got that Celestial Observatory in hand. Going to come in very clutch here. Mass Change is going to go off. There's no Dark Law, so I really don't care. I'm just going to draw into cards, draw into Prep more, summon Bryo, tributing that Ben 10 to grab Vanity's Ruler, bounce back all of his extra deck monsters. Going to follow up for what would have been another play here for the Valk, because I used the mirror, I believe, to banish the Shurit. Gonna summon that Valk and just put on tons of damage, and there's a Ruler on board anyways he can't deal with. And even if he gets rid of the Rulers somehow, he's still got to worry about Unicore, and that's just a big problem in of itself. So a very, very easy win there, smacking him down, no problem. The next replay here actually is me versus one of my mods, one of my IRL friends, good friend. Playing his Grenmaju Gizmech deck. I'm playing Pure Mech Knights. He actually took this to a regional and topped with it, got his invites to Nat, so congrats to him. I'll be getting his deck profile soon for you guys if you want to see that. But the Clutch Ash Blossom, of course, and the Morning Star. What else would you hit? Stopping me from getting some card advantage. Didn't open up too well, but at least tried to make something work. And I'm able to get that World Chalice into the graveyard, luckily, which is able this turn to get me Memory. Try to resolve purple. He does have the Ghost Ogre, but luckily I do have Called by the Grave. I grab Blue Sky. Blue Sky tries to go through. He's got Summon Limit, so, I mean, to be honest, I couldn't even keep swarming the field if I wanted to, because Summon Limit's going to slow me down quite a bit. I use Timeaton here with the, keenly set up 3 cards in the same column. Purple comes back. Now, there can be only one is flipped here, which doesn't affect me too much, because luckily Timeaton and Purple Nightfall aren't the same type. So I'm able to keep playing there, but I link into Morningstar. Unfortunately for me, he has a Phantasme, which isn't going to make it too big of a deal. He did draw a Grenmaju, but luckily for me, he can't use it to great effect, because he only has one banished card right now. And I'm able just to swing for damage here. Getting over that Phantasme is not a problem because of Morningstar's other effect. Still have an Instant Fusion ready to go. Have that copy of World Legacy's Secrets. I've got a Succession as well, so pretty stacked right then and there. So easy win there for Pure Mechs, although that is a very hard matchup. I will say I did get lucky in the fact that I was able to close out the game quick. He didn't see too many of his good stun cards. Now, one thing I want to mention, if you've been watching the streams, you've been seeing a lot of this already, but I'm getting into Marincess a lot lately. I'm actually going to be picking up the deck. I'm having tons of fun with it. I've been playing multiple different builds, playing the Sky Striker engine, Artifact engine, Paleo, But I think I really like the Sky Striker engine the best in there for the most part, because some of your best boards, as you'll see here, you only end on one monster, and it's in the extra monster zone. So it sets up a lot of cool synergy to use the Sky Striker engine, in my opinion here. So going for the Wonder Heart, equipping 3. Now, one thing about this deck I will say is that the Field Spell is probably one of the most important cards for the deck strategy. This card is absolutely insane, Marincess Wave. If you control Marincess Link monster, target one face-up monster your opponent controls and negate that face-up Link monster's effects until the end of this turn. If you control a Link 2 or higher Marincess monster, all face-up monsters you currently control are unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of this turn. And that is all monsters you control, period, not just Marincess monsters. And then if you control a Link 3 or higher Marincess monster, you can activate this card from your hand. Now, opening this card here is a 1-card Link 3 for this card, which is pretty much always guaranteed. It's very easy to go into this, which makes this live immediately. And then you can go into this and Link Summon for it using the Crystal Heart, and anything Link Summoned with this using this while having the field spelled up makes it unaffected by card effects to begin with. So a really solid, slow, paced control deck this deck is, and I'm actually really liking it. Having tons of fun. And of course it's a water deck as well. So he's going to be playing some Black Wings over here with some danger cards, trying to get started with some plays. Going into Rakiri the Rain Shower, trying to blow up all my equips. I can't let him do that because I need to keep this thing at 4,400, so he's going to have a very hard time of getting over it. Using Force Strix and Wise Strix to make some crazy plays happen here to grab the Soul Shave Force. Luckily for me, I hold that Ash until the very last second for that Saryuja, preventing that draw 4, preventing him from digging in any more combo pieces, and I'm able to shut him down right then and there. Going for the Blue Tang, which by the way is like also one of the best cards in the deck because you can Foolish Seahorse, and then you have full combo and then some. Very strong card there. Going into Anemone to revive the Swap Frog, much like we see in Mermail plays. Going to totally awesome, no problem here. Using its effect at the end of the damage step to be able to summon out one of those equipped monsters and make more plays. It's absolutely amazing. And those monsters that you bring out off of Wonderheart, you can actually use their effects in main phase 2 or link off with them. Such amazing synergy with this deck. Like, it's so much fun to play. And as you see, he's trying to do some danger plays. He resolves the Tsuchinoko and goes into none other than Trisbana to try to clear some back row. But luckily, Marbled Rock can just negate the attack. He tries to use Soul Shave to banish all my back row again. And I've got the Toad just to say no to that. So, and even if he did, I have Wave to negate the Trisbane anyways. So I'm not in any fear of that stopping me whatsoever. Because like I've just got the setup right now. I've got that sort of break my board type board. That doesn't end on like a billion negates, but is a pretty sturdy board in its own right. Next up here, we got more Marincess. This is against True Draco, actually, and I believe this might have been game 2 or 3. As you can see, some sided cards here by way of Red Reboot and evenly matched. I was going to evenly match here, but I decided it's not really worth it if I go for just 2 cards. To be honest, I could have, but hindsight's 20/20 though. He does have the True Draco Apocalypse, which I'm going to use the Red Reboot on because I want my combo to go through uninterrupted. Grabbing the field spell off the Sea Angel there, and then using Anemone to bring back the Blue Slug, going into Marbled Rock. Anemone adds back. And I was going to use Marbled Rock's effect here to add back, but I actually didn't have any other targets in my grave because Anemone recycles. So many things in this deck recycle cards. This adds back when it's sent. This has an add back every turn. So many cards that recycle. He's able to clear the field spell, which is good for him because it's one thing you do kind of want to clear against this deck. But I have Wave now getting started with the Swap Frog, and I don't know why he changed the sensor differentiation, or there can be only one, because it really doesn't affect me at all. I guess it stops me from going to more Swap Frog plays, but I'm still able to resolve my Swap Frog nonetheless. And he tries to pop my Swap Frog, but he kind of forgets that Wave protects everything, any monster I control until the end of the turn, and also Wave is not a hard once per turn. You can use as many waves as you're able to see in a given turn, which is why I'm also experimenting playing Trap Trick, but I've since cut it because I don't think it's entirely worth it. Because in the new Sky Striker build, I'm actually playing Foolish Burial Goods to be able to send it to add back off Marbled Rock as an option, but the Twin Twister there at the end pretty much secures the game. Now we've got a little love for Speedroids here, playing against some Trains, 2 of my absolute favorite decks to play. Clock Wyvern getting started though, going into the Rubber Band Shooter with the Rubber Band Plane, and sending that Clear Wing to be able to get that double yo-yo to my hand, which was super clutch. I have the Snowbell, which is such an amazing extender here, being able to make indestructible Crystal Wings. I've got the red-eyed die to be able to bring back the, some of the fast dragon, and Monster Born bringing back the Clearwing Synchro Dragon as well. So I've got like the quadruple threat, more like the triple threat. This really doesn't do too much, but he's got Medion, which is an interesting choice in trains, but I'm able to stop it really just no problem. Sets a lost win and passes. I banish the Chanbara here to get a level 4 and a 1. Luckily, I get the double yo-yo again, summoning the red-eyed die to go into another level 7, this time for Quantum Dragon, because that's my only way to clear this Medion. He has the clutch lost win for it. He's realizing that's my only out, and he's able to out it right then and there, at least for a turn. It's all he's got is a turn. So, uses the Pegasus here. I have to negate that with the Crystal Wing, but the Derek Crane comes down. He goes for the Bullet Express as well, tries to burn for 2k. Derek Crane tries to pop my Clearwing, and I go ahead and negate that, and he tries to go into the Juggernaut Leave, which honestly could have been game at 6k life, but forgetting about the Clearwing Fast Dragon is a fatal mistake indeed. So, yeah, a bit of a mistake there on his part, but he really had no other way to get around that thing. I mean, he didn't arguably, he shouldn't have gone for game there, he should have gone for number 81, but, what are you going to do right there? You're already in a pretty bad off position. We'll go back to a little more Marincess now, though. However, we got Marincess versus Pendulum. This is game 2, and you can see the side deck cards in here. Not the most optimal cards in your hand, but still has Servant, still has Harmonizing Magician, which isn't terrible. As you can see, I use Blue Tang there to great effect to be able to get started my combo, dump the Seahorse to the grave, and also open up Mandarin. So anytime you open up Slug and or Seahorse and Mandarin, or Tang and Mandarin, you have a really, really good field on your hands here. Not only are you able to go into the Marbled Rock super easily, but you're also able to make Crystal Heart, get the field spell to make your Wonder Heart unaffected by card effects, which is really, really strong. And it can protect itself from battle by summoning out the things from the equip zone. So, tries to go into Dugares to boost up his spell Canceller, which is a good idea, but I'm still able to negate the attack. It doesn't matter if these equip spells are negated or not. Now I pretty much have free reign here. He has double red reboot in his hand. Not too good of a pendulum hand, if you ask me. The Blue Tang misses, unfortunately, which honestly, if it does miss, it really doesn't matter. It's really just a bonus if it goes through or not. But Marbled Rock going through now, and adding back off the anemone, using Seahorse to summon one from hand, and going into a second Wonder Heart, which will prove to be too much, that second Wonder Heart, which is also unaffected by card effects, as I was able to make another Crystal Heart there, which I've actually cut it to 1 since then, because I've added some more extra deck cards into the extra deck with the Striker Engine and some other key extra deck cards to be able to out certain cards. But yeah, it just proves to be too much right there. Now we'll go into game 2, the Penned Smackdown. As you can see, you open up a much better hand here, a really good hand. Dragon Shrine, Pendulum Call, Upstart Goblin. The only thing that would have made it better is seeing a Servant in his hand 100%, but I would have had the Ogre for it, luckily. Going for Electromite here, I have to Ogre there. I really, really have to. I don't have any other choice. If I don't get rid of that Electromite, it's going to prove to be problematic. He gets an extra draw to his hand, gets some cards to his hand that he really wants to see. But with the Electromite gone, he's able just to pen 3 and just really do nothing else. Luckily for me, I've got the 1-card combo. There are multiple 1-card combos in this deck. Just tons of them. Especially when you add in cards like Swap Frog and Sea Archiver to the equation, they just get better and better. Like you see here, able to make that unaffected Wonder Heart here, and adding back some cards off an enemy, getting all 3 equips, going for Totally Awesome as well, just securing a really solid board. Able to summon out that enemy here and do more damage, clear more cards. It returns to the equip zone, no problem. Twin Twister clearing the scales, tries to use the Frath. I'm going to go ahead and negate that, or the Purple Poison. I'm going to go ahead and negate that because I don't want him popping a card. I don't want him getting rid of the field spell because that is my main piece of leverage right now. Blue Slug, adding back Seahorse. Seahorse going into some more plays to be able to discard off the swap. Going into a second Totally Awesome with an Impermanence in hand. And just swinging for game. That 4,400 Wonder Heart really putting in work. And if this card dies, you get to summon out any Marincess card, I believe, from your graveyard. 1 link 3 or lower Marincess monster from your graveyard. So there is floating aspects to it. Now, for our next replay here, I think I'll show a replay actually submitted from Larry himself, showing off some cool Fishmail plays against Sky Striker. I think you guys will get a kick out of this one. The Effect Valor is dropped on the Deep Sea Diva, as you might expect. Swap Frog tries to go through discarding the Deep Sea King. Unfortunate for him, but that is 3 hand traps used, all in the same turn here. Really, really unlucky. Stopping both Swap Frogs and the Diva. Just has to go into the Alacia, but luckily he still has the Dragoons in hand to be able to search Teus and grab a Prince during his turn. So definitely could be worse. Ray going into Hayate, swinging for 15. A good Sky Striker turn nowadays, poking your opponent for 15. Grabbing Engage and grabbing Multi-Roll, drawing that Desires will draw him into something good. Another Goods and 2 Drone Lockbirds off that upstart. And a Shizuku there in the end phase. Not the best turn, but he has a good 6 cards in his hand now, which is good for him. But those 6 cards aren't going to do too much against the upcoming onslaught. Drone Lockbird really doesn't matter too much here. Sending that Studio Newman to the graveyard, which will be recurred next turn if the Sky Striker player is not too careful. I guess the Drone Lockbird slowing him down a little bit there. Stopping Dragoons is pretty good, whether you do it via Called By or Drone Lockbird. Widow Anchor coming in clutch here to steal the Alacia and swinging in for some damage here. Able to go into Boral Sword, linking those all off just to get that Widow Anchor back and live on his field. Now starting with the Pike, summoning that Arboreal Zone that the Boral Sword Dragon points to, tries to go for the Deep Sea King Coelacanth. Has the clutch other fish monster that you're pretty much always going to have on your field to be able to protect it, to stop that Widow Anchor dead in its tracks, going into Alacia, going to Crystron Phoenix with the Amatrix, just banishing all spells and traps from his field and his graveyard. Boral returns into defense, but it does not matter. Going to use that effect to revive any water in the graveyard, and tries to swing in some more. Uses the Friller Raptor to negate the Boral Sword's other attack. Area 0 going through to grab Widow Anchor, which again isn't too bad, but is it going to be enough? Using the effect of Launcher, and going into White Aura Whale, he's going to negate, and he's going to turn it to defense. It's not too big of a deal, though, because getting rid of this White Aura Whale is going to prove to be a big problem, because if he keeps attacking it, it's just going to keep coming back. As you can see, he's got a loaded graveyard with water monsters at this point. Grabbing another Area 0 off the Area 0. Top decks a Prince, which is a very, very strong top deck at this point, because infantry does do a lot against Boral, unlike Boral. Swinging in for 28. Now it's just up to the striker player with that top deck of Engage to grab that Jamming Waves, which he could have destroyed his own field spell and then destroyed this. But this is just coming back, and he really cannot outgrind this card right now. It is just going to prove to be too much. I don't think Sky Striker really has a way to OTK right then and there. I mean, maybe he did, but he decided to scoop it up right then and there anyways. So we'll go ahead and move forward here and bring you guys what's going to be probably the last replay of this video, and I say the best for last. This is Mr. Bruce Wayne playing his legendary Super Quant deck versus Marincess. And this has to be one of the longest duels I've ever played on stream, and I'm excited to share it with you guys right now. It's also like the definition of back and forth duels, and one of the reasons why I love YGO Pro so much, because these duels happen quite often. And let's just go ahead and get into it. This is a long one, ladies and gentlemen. I would hang tight. Starting off with Reasoning, I hit it with the Ash Blossom, but he does have the Super Quant Fairy Alphan, which is like the best card in the deck if you ask me. It seems so good. It triggers so many effects and gets you so much advantage. Now, one thing I want to preface here, I've like no experience against Super Quant, and I'm still learning the Marincess deck. And the last time I played him, he Nibiru'd me to absolute death with this deck. So I was very paranoid about Nibiru. Now, with this hand that I have full combo plus totally awesome and then some, but I didn't go for it because I was afraid of Nibiru. Lo and behold, as you can see, he does not actually have Nibiru in his hand, which is really unfortunate, because I'm able to grab Mandarin off of that Blue Tang, and I have like full combo plus totally awesome. Like, my hand is absolutely stacked right now, but as you can see, I go for the Marbled Rock. I forget to play the field spell in time for the Marbled Rock to be able to get the equips, but it's whatever. Now, at this point, he's going to resolve another Fairy Alphan, summoning the blue layer and resolving the red and green, getting a whole bunch of effects here, adding the trap card, going for the field spell, which is probably your best bet in this deck, because it's what allows you to make the Great Magnus, the end-all, be-all of Ixie's monsters. I go ahead and summon the Sea Archiver here just to block damage, because I know the damage is coming. He has the King Magna, or Blaster Magna, which is going to allow for some more shenanigans. Going for the Great Magnus, which has 5 materials, making it unaffected by card effects. And he's able to, I believe, detach a card and shuffle a card on the field into the deck, which does not target. But luckily for me, I draw the Call by the Grave for turn and have the Gamma Seal. So I think the threat is gone for now, but is it really? Is the threat really gone of that Super Quantum Mech King? We'll find out. Blue Slug going off here, adding back another Blue Slug, and I think I revealed a Blue Slug, or a Seahorse rather, off the Blue Tang. So now that I'm kind of, you know, thinking he probably doesn't have the Nibiru, I'm going to start turning on the afterburners here and start trying to play some Yu-Gi-Oh! And start catching up. As you can see, I go into the Wonder Heart with the 3 equips. It is summoned with Crystal Heart. I've got the Anemone, and I'm able to start clearing some cards off his field, adding some cards back. And I'm feeling pretty confident in my position at this point. He's got another Alfan. I don't want to let that go through whatsoever. Totally Awesome comes in clutch by adding back that Gamma Steel just in case he can come back with another Great Magnus, and he can. The second Great Magnus, and I draw another Call by the Grave for turn. So it's deja vu all over again. Gamma Seal, tributing away, and called by getting rid of it. I'm like, this has to be the last Great Magnus in the deck. There can't be any more. Can I even out a third one if there is a third one? Luckily, Blue Tang reveals that Marincess wave in my hand and gets it to my hand, which is going to prove to be huge here. Because that is a negate and a protection of my entire field, making them all unaffected by monster effects, and I can use it from the hand, much like in Permanence. You able to swing in here, make another unaffected card with the Marbled Rock, and he has another Super Quantum Fairy Alphan, which this card is the death of me because it just triggers so many effects. And it's allowing him to sort of stay in the game here. I can't negate it with Wave because it activates in the graveyard and tributes for cost. Blue later adding the field spell again, going in for another Blaster Magna, and sending the field spell to summon the third and final copy of Great Magnus. I go ahead and negate the Blaster Magna. Whether or not that was a good decision or not, I have no idea. I don't even know what this card does, to be honest. So now I draw the Engage here. This is my most recent build of Marincess. Because I've really played it this entire weekend on stream and just been going through build after build. And I think the Striker engine is going to be my go-to option thanks to a couple people in chat who helped me out coming up with the idea. And luckily, I'm able to beat over the Great Magnus with the Wonder Heart. So I just successfully outed the third and final Great Magnus. At least so I thought, because I think that third one is still in his grave. So I really need to see a third called by and get rid of it as soon as I can. He does have Fairy Alphan again, and I've got a weird field. I've got Engage in hand. I just can't use it yet. The time is not right. It's really just up to him to try and clear things. He gets rid of the field spell, which is a key thing for him to do at this point, and going to be able to go into another Great Magnus, the 4th Great Magnus of this game. I'm able to add back Wave off of the Anemone, which is going to prove to be somewhat clutch here. And I think I also here add back the field spell and go into the Wonder Heart. And I have Wave here to be able to protect this card from the effect of Great Magnus, because it does detach, dropping it under that 4 material mark, making it be able to affect by card effects. And luckily, I'm able to get everything to resolve here. I'm able to out that Magnus once again, but I can't call by that effect to summon because it is happening in the damage step. Now, I would have been able to use the Engage here, but I decided to hold off because I'd rather set this and have my Marbled Rock go to the graveyard that called by, so it can't return to the equip zone. There's so many things happening here, I know. And he goes into the Infinitrack Fortress Megaclops, which is actually pretty clutch in this deck because he can make it pretty easily. Now, I think I wasted that called by there, and I should have just used the Wave on the Megaclops, and that should have been it, because it allows him to get Grand Pulse on board, which is able to bait out my second copy of the Wave, and he has Galaxy Cyclone to be able to out my field spell, surprisingly enough. Now I'm able to use the Engage here, go for Widow Anchor, and I draw a Gamma Seal. It's like a godsend at this point. I'm able to steal his Megaclops and attack over his Link 3 and his Gamma Seal and drop him down to 300. Try to summon out the Anemone, which I think he actually just destroyed on accident, which I think was a bit of a misplay on his part, and we both definitely misplayed here in this duel. It was such a long duel. As you see, we're here in turn 13. Now the Danger Engine turning on here, I've got Phoenix, which I had to go into just to be able to get that Megaclops off the field, because I could not have that go back to his field. I just could not do it. And at this point, I have to go into battle phase, clear some things. He's got 2 monsters with 2,800 attack or 2,800 defense, which I can't do anything with right now. I have to Gamma Seal over the Super Quant Link, attack for 200. He has 100 life points left. I've got the Hornet drones. I've got to set that just in case he can break through my board. The only thing that's sort of keeping me alive here is the Marincess wave. I have a negate, and that's really all I have. Going for the white layer, summoning out the Grand Pulse again, and summoning the Super Quantum Mech Beast Luster X, which is actually a negation. Now, I make a misplay here using a Marbled Rock to return the Wonder Heart to the extra deck, thinking I can make it again with the Phoenix and the Marbled Rock, because that potentially would have won me the game. But little did I realize this has a negate, and I also need all water monsters to be able to make this. So I make a misplay there, and I also made a misplay back a few turns regarding what I summoned off of my my Wonder Heart in the damage step. Should have summoned an Anemone to be able to revive cards, to be able to link away his Megaclops without having to normal summon my Ash Blossom. So that was one other misplay I wanted to make right there. But if I had some other link 4 that I per se could have gone into right now, I could have linked into that, use Hornet Drones to go into Kagari, add back Engage or whatever, and then make Shizuku and drop all of its monsters and go for game there. But I wasn't playing a good link 4 at this point, which is a huge mistake on my part. I crashed the Phoenix to get it off my board for some reason. I don't know why. Just maybe to take less damage next turn, or maybe just make it easier to get access to be able to use my Hornet Drones. But I definitely made quite a few mistakes here trying to pilot this new version of Marincess Sky Striker. He's able to run this over, and the Fairy Elf, and luckily I have the Ash for. Now, I should have played the Dark Ruler no more right here. I know such a big fail moment right here. I should have started with this. I don't know why I didn't, but I get started with the Hornet Drones to be able to go into Kagari. I'm thinking I can just add back Widow Anchor here and possibly just push for game. If I also was playing Hayate, I could have went for game too. So many ifs in this game. Able to add the Afterburner in the end phase off the Shizuku. This wave just sitting in my hand, and unfortunately the downfall is here. The Super Quant deck just seems to have unlimited resources at this point. Swinging over the Shizuku and attacking for 12. He's toying with me at this point because I feel like he could have put this into attack position and gone for game as well. Maybe summon this out and attack, but I'm able to negate, or not negate, but destroy 2 cards there, but it doesn't matter. Next turn he puts these into attack and swings for game. But yeah, that was a crazy duel. Actually can't believe it. It was insane. I can't like open up the deck edit thing here, so here we go. Yeah, this is my current Marincess list. I'll show you guys basically 3 Tang, 3 Seahorse, 2 Archiver, 3 Ash, 3 Swap, 1 Ronin, 2 Mandarin, which is coming out in Chaos Impact, 2 Goods, 3 Sign Up Mining, 3 Engage, 1 Upstart, 1 Fusion, 1 Reborn, 1 Afterburner, 3 Call By, 1 Drones, 2 Widow Anchor, 2 Battle Ocean, which I know a lot of people play 1, but I think playing 2 is fine. 3 Wave because the card is busted, 1 Awesome, 1 Avermax, 1 Borreload, 1 Wonder Heart, 2 Marbled Rock, 2 Anemone, 1 Crystal Heart, 1 Hayate, because I'm definitely playing it now after that mishap, 2 Blue Slug, 1 Kagari, 1 Shizuku, and 1 Sea Angel. And the side deck as follows. Not citing Nibiru because outing the token with this deck can sometimes be pretty difficult if it's over 4,400, because sometimes making Avermax and Borreload are hard, but definitely you can make them. So that's that extra deck, or that deck right there. Other decks I can show you guys that were in this video are the Pure Mech deck, so I'll show that real quick. Not much has changed. I don't know what other ideas I can toss into this deck at the moment, but still a pretty solid deck nonetheless. And my most current Speedroid list as of right now. One thing I want to mention about this is I know a lot of people are talking about the Cosmic Blazar combo. I have to look into that more out because I want to try that out. But I'll probably try it out next week on stream and get back to you guys with the findings in a future stream highlights video, or top replays and highlights video, or maybe the next updated deck profile. So yeah, you guys can look forward though to more Marincess content in the future as I pick up the deck IRL, get some deck profiles, some duels with it, etc., etc., test hands, combos, you name it. It'll all be coming soon enough. We're getting this, and this in the special editions for Rising Rampage, and this are coming in Chaos Impact as well. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Join Discord if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitch as well. And as always, guys, Winter Kill signing out. We'll see you in the next one.